Power without freedom isn't shit. I was I was chilling tonight with this chick, right? And she was asking me like, why don't you work a normal job? You know, why are you always up all night and you sleep during the day? And you know, you could be way more productive or make way more money or some shit like that if you like got a real job on top of like what you do. And I didn't really tell her what I do. I told her like one of the things I do, you know, for money. But it's just one thing. But we went to a bar, right? Like after we hooked up and shit, and we've been hooking up for a while. And she was telling me how she like wants to find other ways to make money, and how she like tried to be a stripper and failed at it and shit like that. And I told her like I said this jokingly, right? I was like, "Yo, you could be like a cam girl, and we could like have sets on camera for money. There's like all these guys that pay these couples to have sets, and we can like split the money down the middle." Now, when I said this, I was joking, right? But she was like, "Yo, we should really do that. Like go on one of those like cam porn sites and like make a lot of money doing that." And it's funny because me like 5, 6 years ago would have like loved to do something like that, right? It's like I would have loved to get paid to like have sets or some shit, right? But me now, you know, a little older and a little more like I don't need anything like that. I was just looking at it like a pain in the ass. I'm like, fuck. Now I'd have to have sets with this chick when I don't want to have sets with her. Like, I'd have to be with her for like 3, 4 hours a day, like doing this like kind of thing. And like I'd have to probably pop Viagra to keep my dick up for like 6 hours straight to like have sets with her on camera without stop. Like I'm just looking at all this shit and I'm like, I don't need that in my life. And she was like really dead set on it. She was like, "Yo, let's do it." I'm like, "Nah, like I don't know. My life is good and I'm free and I don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. And you know the money just comes in and I don't want to commit to something like that." Like, to me, that's giving up a level of freedom because it's like I have to be somewhere at a certain time every day. I have to have sex when I don't want to every day for who knows how many hours. And it's like, you know, before you experience certain things, you dream that they're going to be so much better than they are. And they're not. You know, you think when you have like, when you're making like, I don't know, 6 figures at your job that like now you're going to be happy. But it's like, you still have to show up to your job. You don't have freedom. You have a small level of power, but you don't have the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And without that, power really isn't shit. You know, you're really just advancing through the levels of slavery. But years ago, it would have been a dream of mine to like get paid decent money to like have sets of all things, right? But when you learn how to get sets easier, and you learn how to make money in a way that you also have your time and your money, you realize that a lot of the shit you dreamed about doing isn't really anything to aspire to, isn't glamorous at all, and you still have no freedom, you know. And this isn't even me trying to brag about like, oh, you know, I can get laid more now, and I'm getting offers to fucking do internet porn. The point is that like, when you finally get to a point where you get these offers, you realize how empty they actually are. And it's just like, it's not even cool, man. It's like the fantasy is just so much better than the reality, you know? And you want your freedom, you know? You want to make money and be happy and healthy and free. You don't want to be a slave to a business partner or a slave to a job or a slave to, dare I say, a woman. You don't want to be a slave to any of that shit. You want to be as free as possible. And that's really that, man. That's really just the moral of the story. It's kind of common sense, but it's like so many of your dreams. I guess that's really the point I want to highlight, man, because I'm a really big dreamer, right? And I used to have these dreams of being like all of these big things, and as I got closer and closer to becoming them, I actually just wanted to walk away from them because I'm like, I have no time to myself. I have no freedom. I'm living to please other people. It's like, you don't want to live like that, man. you don't want you don't want to be a slave to anything, your possessions, your job, any of that shit. And so many of these things that look glamorous are really just like high price slavery or fancy ways of just being a slave. It's not. It's like you don't want to be tied down. You don't want to be tied down like that, honestly. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really interesting, man.
I mean, being an artist, you came from the streets, worked hard, taken years. How easy is it? I mean, what do you like?
Easy? It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Don't say the word easy.
So I mean, what
may
should
seem easy
people
from the
expect?
outside looking in. I mean, because you got to think like, you know, it's more of a sacrifice than it is a fortune. You know, people look from the outside looking in, just think, okay, travel the world, a lot of money, a lot of fun. It's not. You know, I haven't seen my family in almost a year and a half. Everywhere we go, we don't get a chance to really enjoy it. We in, and then we leave the next day. You know what I mean? So it's constant work. Like, believe it or not, it's constant work. All this we're doing now so we can enjoy it. What is this big thing that everybody's searching for when it comes to being an artist or becoming a superstar? Like, what part of it is it that everybody enjoys so much? Of course, in the spotlight, it's a lot of more things that, that actually come in the equation that you don't really focus on. Like, your privacy is completely thrown out the window. You don't get time to spend with your family as much as you would like to. It's definitely a lot of work. People think that it's really simple and easy. You don't have a life, really. Even a vacation is no longer a vacation. When you go out to a club, you're actually working. Because while everybody's partying, dancing, you taking pictures, signing autographs. And when you sleep, you're dreaming about figuring out ways of how to advance. So like, you never get a free moment for yourself.